What's up, my fellow Trashinators? Welcome back to another episode of Good Content. Uh, it must be weird doing good content again for some of you, or just watching it, because I haven't really been doing it, have I? It's probably because I don't really want to watch, well, I haven't been wanting to watch anything, really. I've been focusing a lot on trying to find a job, still no luck there. But it was just a bit tough for me to get into new things or watch new stuff. But I did it. I found something new and I liked it so much that I actually tweeted about it before making a video. If you looked at the title and actually clicked on this video, thank you. But anyway, so this video is gonna be about The Lake. It's a Thai film. It's just a creature feature. There's nothing really special about it besides the creature design. Perfection. So from what I could understand from watching this, I don't think the creature has a specific name or anything. It's just the monster. But she is absolutely beautiful because she just has all the design cues I need in a monster, and all across like cinema, all my favorite creature designs, it takes from all of them and it just makes it its own. She's so beautiful. I'm gonna actually just pull it up right now. I'm gonna pull up, I actually got my laptop here. You actually saw my graduation sticker on my laptop. Speaking of, my brother graduated yesterday, so give him some congratulations. He deserves it a lot more than I did. He's been through a lot. There's not really any good images of her, especially since, especially when it comes to the story. She just, there's a lot. All right, found a decent one. Honestly, it's just her head, but still, absolutely beautiful design right there. God, I love her. What a woman. Alright, so yeah. Actually, the reason I've been calling her is due to a story implement, in which I'll be talking about the story right now. Just gotta set things back up. Alright, so yeah. So let's get to the story. It's pretty concise. I have a couple of gripes, but it's nothing like too bad. It's still a great movie. That's why it's in this series. So The Lake, I already established this, but The Lake is a 2022. It's a 2022 Thai film that's everywhere. It's very cheap. It's everywhere. You can I watched it on Tubi, but that did come with some challenges because my version, the subtitles were really fast at the beginning. They got better throughout, but they just kept going fast. They slowed down a bit throughout, but it was still hard to like read it, look at the movie, look at how beautiful it is. It is a beautiful movie, besides the creature effects. But yeah, anyway, so that's like the background. I don't know much else. All I know is that when it got released, where it's from, and that's it. So the story picks up with a cold open. In case you don't want to watch the whole movie again, I'm pretty sure there's just a clip of the cold open, and that's all you really need to see. Because I almost forgot to mention this. I found this movie via TikTok of just a random video. It just came out of nowhere. Had nothing to do with my For You page besides I like monsters and horror. So it came out of nowhere. It was just clips of the monster and all of her beauty. It was mainly the cold open and some sequences at the end. But yeah, because of that, I instantly fell in love with the design, tried to find where I could watch it, and I already downloaded Tubi. I have a Tubi account, and bam, I watched it. What was this, Tuesday? I'm gonna have to like, I'm not gonna look back at it, whatever. I watched it anyway, and I loved it. So yeah, the opening is a cold open, which sets up, it just sets up like a plot point about spoilers. Watch it, please. But yeah, so the story, it starts out with, well, it's a family where the lady, I'm pretty sure it's the guy's wife or sister. She's scared because she heard about a monster in the lakes and rivers around the area, and she was telling her husband or brother, I don't know, well, the male character, that she's scared and she doesn't know what to do, and that he shouldn't be out in the rain hunting fish or frogs. I can't remember, but he's like, oh, you're crazy, go back inside. And he goes out and goes hunting. I think it's fishing, actually. But after he leaves, he finds a goat out of the pen because they're farmers. He puts it back in. I guess it's just a little plot point. I don't know. Anyway, so he goes fishing. Then we cut to another group of people who are hunting frogs because there's a lot of frogs out. But they find a gigantic egg. Just absolutely massive egg. And it starts moving and it looks like it's about to hatch. But then we cut back to the fisherman. He's fishing there, and then all of a sudden we see these scaly back and spikes come out of the water and go back in. He was like, what's going on right there? What's going on? It's a bit of a Godzilla reference, of course. Oh yeah, I should probably mention, this movie's full of like American movie horror references. Again, the first one is Godzilla the first American Godzilla. They reference that. Chainsaw Massacre. Shit. There's another one, I can't remember that. Whatever. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of references. So the fisherman notices the water moving and the creature in there. But then he's like, where'd it go? He's not that extreme. It's just really daunting. Because there she is. As bigger than a school bus or a bus in general. Just this absolutely gigantic, massive reptilian amphibian creature. It looks like an Aztec god, really does. She comes out, eats the guy, and goes off to find her egg, because that was hers. She eats, what? 2? There's 3 guys there. I think she only eats 2. Not very well. I think she just kills them. So then she kills them, leaves 1, I think. And then I think that it leaves on the egg, shaking a bit. So I think that's where the cold open ends. Really good. Good. So good. But then we cut to landscape shots where it's like the guy talks about humans and why they fear things. It's evolution, really. And then we get to our first main character. We have a couple. We have a few, actually. Our first one is the inspector. He goes to the site where the guys were killed. They see a lot of slime by the water and whatever. And a net, because they were hunting frogs. So they go, and then we leave them. We leave the inspector right there with his co-worker. And then we cut to the family of the fisherman, I think, where we have his wife. Actually, I'm not even sure if it's the same family. It might. I'm pretty sure it's a different family. That's my bad. So we cut to another family who has another monarch, who has a monarch, who has the main guy. He's missing too. And so they're trying to find him, but it's early in the morning, so they're like, oh, come on, get up, get up, get up. So the matriarch, I don't think we ever get a name for her. It's kind of weird, but anyway, she wakes up her daughter. Her name's May. She's like the psychic kind of kid in movies. Well, she's not psychic. She just has like, she has a weird like attachment to the creatures, as we will see later. So she wakes up May. May wakes up her uncle, who's the brother to the lady. So May and her uncle are like doing work in the field because they're farmers. So they're her uncle's actually getting drunk. May goes around and just explores because that's what kids do. They just lays about, and so she comes across another egg. At first, you're supposed to think, oh, that's the same egg from the opening. It is not. So she finds the egg. She brings it to her uncle, and he's like, whoa, what is that? So they bring it to May's mom, and she's like, go put it back, that's dangerous. And she's like, no, I want to see it hatch. And she runs off. So May goes to like right on the river's edge away from her house and just puts the egg there, and she's like, ooh, cool. And so May's mom and her brother have to go and try and find May. Uh-oh. Here comes another monster. Yeah, I already spoiled it. Yeah, so the first egg we saw hatched, and now there's a second monster that's a little bit small. That's actually really smaller. About the size, above average size of a human. Probably a bit taller than me, because, you know, I'm pretty big. I'm never not going to bring that up, because I feel like people won't believe me. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, so May disappears. I think the egg is just still there. I can't remember. No, I'm not sure. I can't remember that part. But the egg's somewhere. All right. So May's mom comes across the area. I think she sees the egg. I can't remember if the egg's there. That's bad on me. But the baby, the monster baby, comes up, attacks May's uncle, who was in the water searching for her. They only found her shoe, and he gets bitten in the shoulder. And I think the reason they were so focused on the slime, that there's slime around, is because it's poisonous. It also has like a psychological effect. We'll see later. So they try and run away from the monster, but the monster chases after them. And so they chase through the farm, and then they just let everyone else die. Like, this is a full-on, true-on massacre that happens before you, and it's kind of upsetting. Like, it's meant to, they're trying to convey it as like, ooh, cool horror scene where everyone dies. But it's really more shot like a retelling of a school shooting. It's really that horrific. That's probably like the scariest scene, but I got upset a bit because I was like, why is the monster so small? It's like barely bigger than a human. I already said it. It's not the same monster. It's just a baby. It's also it's a suit rather than CGI like in the cold open. And by the way, the CGI is really great. It's just so good. It's so good. But yeah, it's a guy in a suit who's playing the baby monster, and that took me out of it. My attention to detail when it comes to CGI and like VFX, it took me out. That's why you should never be a film fan. You shouldn't be into movies. You'll notice things that aren't supposed to be noticed. So yeah, that took me out. But the scene itself is actually truly horrifying. Luckily, we get to the Texas Chainsaw reference where May's mom and her brother, May's mom's brother, I should clarify that. I'm not saying May has a brother. I don't think she does. I'm talking about her mother's brother, her uncle. So they track down a truck, and they get in the back, and then that's the reference. They get in the back. It's almost nighttime. It's sunset. They're in the back, cradling each other while May's mom is like looking back and just kind of solemn. I think this is where we see I think the monster chases them for a bit, but then it runs off. So yeah, then we cut back to the inspector, where I think, oh yeah, he's at his wife's grave, where he's like, oh, things are tough, but we're getting through it with my daughter, and then he goes off. I think this is where he goes to. What happens? Oh yeah, I think that's it. I think we catch up with May's mom. They're at the hospital getting checked up, and there's a full-on, like, they're all traumatized, and it was also clear to me here that the blood makeup, they were like, oh, we'll just use a regular bandage, like cotton thing. We'll try and rub it off there, but because it's makeup, it doesn't. So it's very clearly, they just kind of dunked it in some rubbing alcohol and just put it back on there, and now it disappears. So that's a little tidbit for you if you watch it after this, because that was something I noticed. It was very clear, like, dunk. All right, rubbing alcohol works now. It works. So yeah, so now they're in the hospital, and they tell May's mom tells the nurse what happens, and the nurse is like, oh no, we have to tell the government. She rings up the government, like the general secretary, I think, and she's like, yeah, there's a monster, and the secretary was like, oh no, we have to tell the government. So they go, and she busts in right in the middle of a meeting, tells the general or whatever, who he is, I don't know, that, hey, there's a monster, we have to figure it out. So he's like, all right, cool, get down there, let's explore the area. And then I think this is when we pick up with the inspector. I think this is when he picks up his daughter because she got in a fight at school. She says it's because she's planning on breaking up with her boyfriend, but she later clarifies is that she wants to spend more time with her father because he's an inspector, he's a busy man, and he's not around a lot. Especially now that his wife's dead, so she can't do the work. So yeah. He picks her up. They drive over to his partner. They leave their truck in the middle of the road. They get into a truck right next to them. That's the partner's truck. She gets in first. He gets in the passenger side, and the partner drives off. Because they're going off to inspect another crime scene, or a massacre scene if you want. It's a playground. There's dead people around. There's no dead children, but there's dead people. So yeah, that happens. I think this is where my line gets fuzzy. Okay, so I'm just gonna abbreviate it. So basically, May's uncle, figures out that he has a psychic connection to the baby monster because it attacked him, and now he has like poison in his blood that also makes him psychic with the monster. And then the inspector finds May with the egg and whatever psychic things, the main goddess herself comes back. She tries to take the egg back. She kills the inspector's daughter. May's fine. The inspector's fine. His partner's fine. I think the inspector took their egg with. Oh, they're also they're evacuating because why wouldn't you? They evacuated the entire town, but for some reason the inspector takes May and the egg with her, with them, to the evacuation sites, the main evacuation site. So, let's see. They take them. They're all evacuating, but the egg's almost about to hatch as well. So the main monster's coming now to the city. Beautiful effects, by the way, just really well done. So they go, but now the monster's here, and she's like, kind of killing people. They're trying to be like, they're trying to say, don't be afraid. She's not gonna hurt you. She just wants her baby. Let nature be itself, and you can do your own thing. That's kind of like the main story element here, but it's not really well done because it's kind of sloppy. But it's pretty good for the movie. So let's see. May's uncle takes the truck with. Oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot. So they first say go to the church. You can use that place as a sanctuary, but they captured the baby monster, and they're like, hey, stop it. May's uncle, I think his name's Kang, right? Kang? Like King, but with an E. I can't remember. I tried to remember it. I really did. I was like, remember, it's King, or whatever. But it's been a few days, so, alright. So they're like, hey, he's connected. If you kill the baby, you'll kill him. And they do it. The general comes up. He grabs a spear. And he's like... And Kang's like, oh no, my ribs. Because that's where the baby got stabbed. And they're like, oh, okay. But we're still going to circle this. Like, we're still angry even though we understand what's going on now. Actually, they track the baby down to a building. Because the baby didn't... massacred a whole street of people, so it was hiding in an abandoned factory somewhere. They found it, they captured it. What I just said happened, and now it's just in a truck in a cage, just being circled by angry people, civilians with like farming tools. So that's the end of that plot. But, the mom's now here because... Wait, no. When she killed the inspector's daughter, she took the egg back and put it somewhere safer. But she's here for the baby. So, instead of leaving, May's uncle takes the truck and he leaves. And so... they think he's dead, and the monster never shows up again. The monsters, I should say. They never show up again. And that's basically the end of the movie. They have a post-credit scene. No, a pre-credit scene where they're like, the monster never showed up again, but 5 years later, we cut to a tropical scene where there's this guy in a cave. I can't really recognize his face. I think it's the inspector. He's in a cave looking at these graphics of the monster. But creepy sound. He turns around and the monster's there, and and the torch goes out, and that's the end. That's the end of the movie. So yeah, it was pretty good. I wasn't expecting much. I was only there for the monster, and I was surprised. It's really good for what kind of movie it is. Especially when you see other movies like it, where it's like dollar store F tier movies. This is like a solid A monster movie, and I do recommend it. It's available pretty much everywhere. You can just buy it. I saw it for free on Tubi. Of course, like I mentioned, the captions were very fast for me. Like they were early, but they also cut out early because you can't have multiple captions at once when from the previous sentence and the next sentence, like do you get whatever? Like the only thing I didn't really like was the story of the inspector and his daughter. Like it was very clear that they were trying to be like, oh, alright, I'll be a better dad, I'll be in your life more, but then they just kill her off, which is weird. I guess that gives him motivation to find out more about the monster. Maybe that's why he was in the cave, if that was him in the cave, but I'm not sure. So yeah, the movie came out in 2022. It's very clearly hinting at a sequel, so yeah. That's about it. Pretty good. I wasn't expecting much, I was surprised. And I hopefully you all will be surprised as well. But that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the description to all my social medias and my Patreon. I am still unemployed. My art commissions are still open. But that's about it from me. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.